listening to the Bleacher Brothers Show, the most unique sports show in the world because these guys don't really know anything about sports.
We're back. Welcome to the Bleacher Brothers Show on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. I am AJ Johnson, your host, and we got Steven Luker. Steven Luker, I got to put you on here. We don't do this anymore, hardly like ever, Steven. Steven joined the union, became a big shot. Now we can only work once a month, but that's going to change. We're coming back here. Anyway, let me bring you in here a little bit, Steven. So we got a lot to cover, and we're just doing a quick hit tonight. We're not doing a full show, but we got to get some updates in. And Steven, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Another
day.
What's that?
It's another day. We're living in paradise.
Paradise. Now you're surrounded by smoke and fire and smog, and that's just on a normally good day in California. But how close to these towering infernos are you right now, buddy?
Not that far, luckily. Thank goodness.
Are you breathing in? Is it more smoggy than normal outside your house now?
Not really. It's just clear, and it's all the way over. Like, it's on the other side of the town. Like, if you leave town, you will smell it, and that's how bad it is.
But you're not smelling it at your house?
No.
All right, good. Did you watch the debate last night? There was a debate with two presidential candidates.
No.
You didn't watch it? What were you watching last night?
I was watching some
Don't even tell me
I was
battle
working
bots.
No, I was working volleyball last night.
Working volleyball. What exactly does that mean, Steven?
So I was
Fill us
doing
in, buddy. We've all been away for a very long time, so we got a lot of catching up. Look at what I discovered while we were gone.
whoa.
Wrexham, yes. But go ahead. Tell us what the hell the working volleyball actually is.
So last night I was doing libero tracking, so I had to keep track of all the subs going in and out and making sure the libero comes back in and everything.
The libero? What is a libero?
So the libero has to wear a opposite color than the other players on the team. So if the team wears red, they have to wear whatever the school, let's say your school colors are red, white, and blue. They have to wear the opposite color of the other players. They can't wear the same color as everyone else on the team.
Why?
Because that's how they indicate the libero. I don't know why, but that's how they indicate them.
I don't understand. So I'm going to bring in somebody with us here who is not scheduled yet. But you okay coming in right now? I'm bringing you in right now. Maybe he knows a lot about all kinds of sports. Robbie Listella Report, the AAC show, all kinds of. We'll get to that in a minute. Do you know what the hell he's talking about with this libero? Do you know anything about volleyball? Because we cover volleyball, not you or me personally, but we do cover NCAA volleyball.
No, I've only watched volleyball maybe a couple of times. I've not seen what was it called again? Libero?
Yeah.
Never heard of it, but I mean, it kind of sounds like the goalie in soccer a little bit wearing the other color jersey, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, or like the quarterback in practice. In football, who has the red sort of vest on, don't touch me type of thing. So what is the purpose of this libero? Can you explain this to us, Stephen, quickly?
Libero means it's a defensive specialist in the indoor volleyball who plays in the back row and is known for their passing and digging skills.
But so if they come out, they have to go back in?
Yeah, they have to substitute it back in.
Okay. But somebody else can come out and not go back in.
Yes, correct. And there's a certain limit they can have of substitutions. You can't do 20 substitutions in the game.
How many players are on a volleyball team?
It depends, 10, 20, but 5 players are on the court at a time. So then you're limited to 15 substitutions.
So, isn't a volleyball game like 10 minutes long?
No. It's first to 25. But if it's tied 24-24, you have to win by 2.
So confusing.
It is. Trust me. Like the game I went to yesterday went to 4 sets. So it has the max to 5 sets.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll get more into volleyball and the what is it called? The
Libero.
Libero. Like wheelbarrow, but with, right? Sort of?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, all right, yeah, we'll get more into that as we move on in the year when sports slows down. Right now we're picking up, but it's cool that you're doing that, and we'll get more info on what the heck you're doing. You're keeping score. I know you're volunteering, and I know you like it. So, Robbie, I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked him. There was a debate last night. Did you catch any of it?
No, we were live at the same time. We started at 9. And we stole all the viewers that did want to watch that mess.
You know what? Good. And I hope you did a better job than that Trump did last night, because if it was a boxing match, I got it like 119, 109 for Kamala Harris last night. And she didn't do anything spectacular. The only thing that she did last night was not self-destruct. And by not self-destructing, she won because Trump self-destructed, unfortunately.
I didn't watch, but the thing I've noticed, like with all these debates, if you go back and look, I mean, I wasn't alive for any of these presidents, but if you go back and look at clips of a debate from Reagan, Clinton, even Kennedy, they're much more civil. Like, it's not an arguing match between two people that hate each other. It's more of a speaking competition between two foes, I guess would be the nicer way to put it. Now it's kind of more theatrical, and I feel like a lot of this stuff is made for social media. And so it's just a lot of times it's not interesting to me because I feel like it doesn't really show either of them in their true light because they're just trying to put on for all the people watching.
Yeah, so believe that Trump changed it all when Trump decided to run for president. I think he's the one that changed it from the civil sort of debate between two intellectuals
Yeah.
into a schoolyard sort of fight. Um, and I get what you're saying, except I actually think that we are seeing Trump the way Trump is.
Yeah.
And now people are going to start hating and saying, "Oh, you're pro Kamala." I'm not telling you who I am, but I am definitely not pro. I hope that Kamala does not become president. But with that being said, I think you're getting Trump. You see what you're getting what you see, and you see what you get with Trump. And I don't know. I just, to me, it kind of sucks that. I mean, this is that was 4 years ago. Then 4 years before that, so 4 and 4. Let me see, Steven. I might need the scoreboard. That's 8. So we get 10 years of this schoolyard sort of brawl with Trump going on here. And then Kamala Harris as the other. We couldn't come up with 2 better candidates at this point. I mean, that's where. What are we going to do 4 years from now? Is it going to be Trump again? And maybe are they going to wake Joe up? If Joe sleeps for the next 4 years, he might be.
They'll bring back Nikki Haley and the other guy Vivek, and they'll find some other, maybe Gavin Newsom next time, or some other young gun that's hopefully young. Honestly, I hope it's young. None of those people I mentioned are Gavin's young, but other than that, I mean,
well,
maybe
Vivek is young, isn't he?
Actually, those three are the young. I actually named all 3 of the young people, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But we'll see. We got to make it through the 4 years until then. But
yeah,
but,
that's going to be the difficult part, buddy. No matter who becomes president, we got a long 4 years ahead of us. That's for sure.
Yep.
Oh,
I mean, but that's why I didn't watch. I mean, I don't watch any of that stuff. I'm tuned into the political things, but I try not to drown in it.
Nah, you know what? Right, it's right. I'm not putting you on the spot, and we're not that show. But do you know who you're voting for already?
No. I think it's last time. I'm trying to remember. I know. Yeah, last year I was very close. I almost missed voting, so I do need to figure it out before it gets to like the second to last day, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do.
Before you get in the eeny, meeny, miny, mo, something, you know what I mean? Before you get in the voting booth or however they're going to do it this year.
Yeah.
Oh, man, so Robbie is our FAU. I hate what's going on with my lighting in here right now. All of this will be fixed soon. Now, your lighting is much better. My forehead is just shining here. Robbie's our FAU beat writer. He's the AAC conference reporter for Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. And let's just cut right to it with FAU football. We're 2 weeks into the new season. Is this team worse than last year's team? Is this team where are we at? That's what I want to know, because I ain't seen nothing exciting so far.
Yeah, it's been surprising to say the least. Me, Rick, Christian, we're out there almost every day this summer. So we'll start in July, and it was a completely different atmosphere over the summer. But I guess that's how it is. Vibes are high. No games have been played yet. But it just kind of seemed like everyone was rejuvenated. The last regime, nothing really clicked there. The players and the coaches never was in sync. And so, this was talking about, getting a new culture in here. And that's what it's still on pace for that, at least. No one's quitting. No one's going to the press conferences and acting like, quitters. But, on the field has not clicked yet. And that's it's a little surprising. I thought it would have clicked faster, but maybe I assumed too much. 9 out of 11 starters on offense is something that, it's tough to game plan for. And so, you go all summer and you see these guys in scrimmages, but that's not in game. That's not, everyone's giving 100% effort, that you want them to, but that's just not how it is. And so when you get to, Michigan State on that Friday night and the offense is going 3 and out, that's the first time those guys have been going full speed together. And, you wanted to see them score more than a touchdown in week 2 to try to show some progress. Unfortunately, they couldn't.
Well, yeah.
But
Did they go backwards from week 1? Do you feel like they moved forward as a team, but you were at the Michigan State game? You went up to where is it? Lansing, right? Is that
Lansing.
right? Lansing. Okay. And so I couldn't even find that game on TV. I tried.
That's so bad. I hate the Big Ten. You have to pay for an extra subscription to get the Big Ten network.
I finally just gave up and just started following the Owls. Not started following. I went to Twitter or X and said, let me just keep an eye on the Owls Nest and I'll find out what's going on that way. But when I read all the recaps and yours and everything else that I saw, what I gathered from game 1 is that both teams played bad. Michigan had the same sort of, I'm going to call them excuses, reasons, whatever, that FAU had. We didn't go full speed, first time together, we were sloppy, we did some things that we shouldn't have. So the game was close. FAU tried to come back. They almost came back in that game, right? Stop me if I'm wrong. My memory is not that good.
Yeah, the Michigan State went all the way down into the red zone, and FAU's defense forced a pick and returned it back to the opposite 40. They go down, they score that first touchdown of the game. All things are riding high. They stopped them multiple times on 4th down to get the ball back, but anytime they got that ball back in the 4th quarter, they were just unable to move it. It's been a bunch of things. No run game.
So was that game close because
of the defense?
Michigan State played a really sloppy, bad game, or are these teams close?
It's tough. It's tough to say because Aiden Childs with Michigan State, their quarterback, who's very highly regarded in the Big Ten. He goes into that next game against Maryland and throws for over 300 yards. I believe 2 or 3 touchdowns as well. Michigan State beats Maryland, and Maryland looked good in week 1. Maryland's looked good over the past couple of years. It's a rising program, and so. Yeah, I mean, Michigan State looked good in week 2, and so FAU's defense to slow them down how they did in week 1, that's a positive sign. And so, week 2, you don't face any passing at all. And so the real strength of this defense, the DB unit, just wasn't able to do anything besides give up that one 44-yard touchdown pass on a play where they, frankly, just weren't expecting a pass. And so...
Yeah, let me ask this. Now, I was at the game, but, when you're up in the press box, you're watching the game. That's what you got to do to write, to put out your content. When you're on the sidelines and you're photographer, when you're taking pictures, a lot of times you miss some of the things that happened because you're busy going for the shot. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, my screen's not loading right now. But is this box score accurate? Did the Army quarterback complete one pass?
One pass for 4 yards, or 1 of 4 for 44 yards and a touchdown. And so they rushed it however many times they did for over 400 yards. Yeah, and you know what I've noticed? We went down there on the field. It's much harder to pay attention when you're down there. It just moves a little bit faster, I guess, when you're right in front of it.
It does. But this shouldn't be a surprise with Army, right? Because in Army's first game, when I looked them up, because I had, and we'll get to BleacherBet in a few minutes. I don't know if you saw this, but I had a plus $13,000 parlay this weekend. It was 5 NCAA games. I believe it was 5. It was, 5. Nebraska, did I call that one hours ahead of time?
Colorado's in shambles.
Yeah, but LeJohntay scored the only touchdown. We can talk about that. I had Texas. I had Navy. And why I was hot on Navy is because you turned me on to Temple the week before. And then I talked to a guy in Philly that night, and I said, we're taking the over in Temple. He's like, the point? I said, no, just over a touchdown. He goes, dude, they'll be lucky if they score a touchdown all season long. So I figured, all right, Navy will just destroy Temple. And then I sat down and I looked at FAU and Army, and I saw what Army did in week 1. How they ran and 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 ran. And nothing to me pointed at FAU. So I played Army, and I think I was getting 2.5 points with Army. Yeah. And I ran the table on NCAA. I mean, BleacherBet was 5-0 with NCAA. One lousy stinking game. I lost the $13,000 parlay by 0.5 point.
To the greatest football team, the one who takes the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, number one.
Yeah, I don't have it. I have it here somewhere, but it's not all. Yeah. Oh, I
No.
was so pissed. I would rather see them. I hate the Dolphins. I will never. But we'll save that. And to top it all off, not just NFL and NCAA, we threw in a English Football League, League One, Wrexham, because now I'm all up and into this Wrexham, and so we're nailed soccer. Not just soccer halfway across the world. We nailed college football, which a year ago I knew nothing about, and now I'm putting out perfect picks, and stupid friggin' Miami. But anyway, let's bring it back to FAU. So Army, you know what I dug about Army? The back of their uniforms.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All it said was Army.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was it. No names, just Army, Army, Army.
And you got some schools who are putting QR codes for NIL on the back of their jerseys.
Are you doing that in Colorado yet? Is Legente like one walking you QR code at this point?
They did. I believe they did that in spring camp. No, they put their social media @s on their spring jerseys. So it said they're like you could follow them on Instagram on the back of their jersey. That's what they did.
Yeah, it's a goof. But so anyway, what were you? So what surprised you this past Saturday?
Well, for overall, on the offensive side of the ball, the inability to run the ball was a real struggle, both with the running backs, both for back-to-back games. But in this one, Cam rushed for 10 first downs against Michigan State. That was, the passing game looked what it looked like. It's known. But Cam rushed the ball really well, took some unfortunate hits, but he picked up 10 first downs and then plus all the other first downs picked up with penalties. So he made it out that game, was a little bruised, banged up, but, he was fine overall. They want to protect him, but then they go against Army, and he only carries the ball 4 times and only picks up 1 first down. So, that was really surprising to me. I knew the game plan was to, protect him from those dangerous hits, but I didn't think that meant eliminating his rushing game almost entirely. So that was definitely a little bit surprising. And on the defensive side of the ball,
the total rushing game was shut down. I mean, CJ carried the ball 8 times.
Yep.
They had a total of 17 carries.
Yep. Yeah. And so that they found themselves down early. And when they tried to pass to come back, second half they were already down 2 scores, and it just didn't work. Army went out, scored the first points of the second half. FAU was putting a little drive together there, and then Cam throws that interception into double coverage, and then from there it was just downhill. Army had like a 10-minute drive. They converted on a fake punt or a fake field goal.
They did,
which is just demoralizing if you're FAU in that one, and so. I think, to me, taking the ball out of Cam's hands I guess putting it in his hands more and forcing him to pass it more. Yeah, you want to see that pass game get going, but, the most success he's had so far in 2 games has been running the ball. And so the pass game hopefully will pick up if the run game does on its side, but I still strongly think the offense's best bet to have an explosive side to it right now is to let Cam run the ball. If he wants to keep playing football, he's going to have to, avoid those hits. And I'm sure him and Tom Herman have had that conversation. But I'm assuming also they realize how much of a threat he is running the ball. And I think against FIU, against a team that FAU has beaten every year since 2016, it's going to be important to find ways to be explosive. They can't come out there against FIU and open the game with another 3 and out. It might happen? Maybe. It very well might, but they really can't. They got to come out fast, and they just can't let FIU come into Boca and, put out more explosiveness than them. And I right now, outside of Cam running the ball, I don't see the explosive side of this offense. BJ Alexander at wide receiver blew out his knee right before the season. That was unfortunate. He's a locker room guy. Would have potentially been a captain and a starting receiver on the outside. He gets hurt. EJ Horton, I don't know the ins and outs of turf toe, but he got turf toe and then had to have surgery on it, and so he's been out. He was probably another potential starter on the outside. So that's hurt. And then, the most consistent guy so far at wide receiver, Omari Hayes, he's had, I think, 9 catches for like $120 and a score through these 2 games. He only played 19 snaps against Army, which was the 6th least on the team out of the 7 receivers who played. So that was a bit surprising to me. We knew they were going to rotate wide receivers to start the season, but I assume the goal would to be, as they rotated, to find these guys who are putting up production and increase their snap count. And unless, there was, Herman didn't mention any injuries or any reason for him not to be in the game. So that was pretty confusing as the most productive receiver not on the field all the time. But, he also mentioned LeJohntay didn't play all the time. So maybe he's just on a snap count. But just a few things that surprised me. I'm hoping they find a way to put together on the first drive of the game just a script drive. Like, have all your plays planned out, execute, block, put the holes in the offensive line where the running back needs to go. At receiver, create some separation, please. Like, do something on the outside for Cam Fancher, because if not, he's just going to have to run. And right now it doesn't seem like they're too willing to let him. So I have no idea what the offense is going to look like against FIU. I've never really felt that way about FAU football before. I've always kind of had a good feeling about what I'm going to see out there. But against FIU, I've got no clue.
How much of a loss is how much of a loss is LeJohntay? Seriously, if you're much closer, you're much more educated on FAU football than I am. From a gambling sort of, I'm looking at 10,000 different games. I see so far, same team as last year. Really good defense, keep them in the game. Offense, quarterback, suspect. Running game, no. But last year there was LeJohntay. And then you had Burt, who was also... And then you had
a little bit of a run game too, at least a little bit.
So is it the same team but without LeJohntay and crew?
Yeah, I think
that's not good.
It's the offensive line is definitely worse at this moment. You bring in all these guys, they got to gel as a unit. That hasn't happened yet. Daughtry Richardson on the outside is talented, and he's struggled a little bit. Malcolm Lamar on the other side, he's talented as well. He's struggled a little bit. So that's definitely been a huge factor. The offensive line play was better last year, at least in the run game. Against Army, I would say the pass protection for FAU looked better than it did last year, but not against Michigan State. It did look better against Army, but the run blocking both games worse than last year. And then at receiver, obviously you're going to miss a guy like LeJohntay. And so losing him did hurt. Yeah, for Cam to have a go. That's the thing we talked about on the show last night is when Cam is getting blitzed, if the other team knows the offensive line is struggling, they're going to send some pressure, speed Cam up a little bit, and that's going to prevent him from going through all of his reads. When that happens, as a quarterback, you're going to need a go-to guy. You're not going to want to force it to him, but just somebody, there's a 50-50 shot. They're either going to go up and make a contested catch or they're going to get open. Cam doesn't have that right now. And so when he's getting blitzed, when the pocket is collapsing, he's got to make all these reads in like a split second. And the receiver, and when he does, the receivers aren't open. So then there's nothing to go for. So yes, having a guy like LeJohntay would have been huge. But also Tony Johnson was a guy that was behind him. Retaining him would have been huge as well. He goes off to Cincinnati, so he's gone. But Omari Hayes has stepped up in that slot position where LeJohntay played last year. He played the most snaps in game 1 there against Michigan State, and then he still scores that first. He still has the most catches, I believe, maybe tied for the most catches, but had the most yards and the only touchdown against Army. But he doesn't play, so I don't.
He did have the most catches, most. Yeah, I changed the page. I don't know how to navigate through our own website right now because we got so many changes going on. But he's got 119 receiving yards on the season. Yeah. I left last week's podcast. Why is Zeke Moore? I expected Zeke Moore to really kind of pop this year.
I thought Zeke Moore would have been more involved too. He suffered a bit of a shoulder injury right towards the end of camp, he was good to go in that first game, but he was still coming back a little bit. And then again in this one, he did play more than Wyatt Sullivan, I believe, but the snaps were still kind of split. FAU does put 2 tight ends on the field, a pretty decent amount. So, but yes, involving them in the pass game, very, very surprising they haven't been involved. I don't know why. I have no idea. Tom Herman, when we mentioned the tight ends, he talks about the injuries to the room as a whole. It's been a bit surprising. Elijah Brown at tight end was Cam Fancher's high school teammate. He had a concussion. He's been out for a while. But other than that, it's just Khalil Brantley, and he's been out. But and they said he was diagnosed with lupus, which I think is, you never want to hear about people getting injuries, but I think it's a bit interesting. But he's fighting back. He'll be back soon. So I want to see this tight end room get more involved somehow. But I don't know why, and it hasn't, and I just don't know the plan for increasing that involvement. Like on the goal line against Army, they tried to get the tight ends involved, but they ended up losing 3 yards on a pass behind the line of scrimmage. So I just don't. Maybe the play calling for the tight ends hasn't been the best, but it's very surprising.
What's the vibe with the players right now? You're closer than anybody. So I mean, 0-2, Army. The game was not even as close as the score. Really, in this Army game, FAU was never really in the game.
They were at halftime.
What's the vibe with the players? Yeah, they had that drive right at the end of the first half, but other than that,
overall, I would say still pretty positive. I think they're there's a bit of like that demoralizing feel, especially right after the game. You could tell the guys were down a little bit, but Cam's still realizing, he's got to step up. He's got to be better. That's something Tom Herman noted, right? He talked about, I asked Tom about how how Cam goes about leadership, even though they're struggling. And, he mentioned not, being in a glass house and not throwing stones. So, yes, maybe there's wide receiver injuries. Yes, maybe their receivers out there aren't getting open. But at the same time, Cam's missed some throws. He hasn't made the best reads. He's struggled a little bit as well. So from a leadership perspective, I think they're definitely, still focused, still dialed in, and still trying to keep this season in a positive limelight. But a loss this week, I do think could really change that. And, it's only week 3. You hate to say that a season.
That's crippling if they lose to FIU this week.
Yeah. It's only week 3, but it would pretty much signal a downfall. You don't want to put too much, pressure into one game, but it's a huge game from the fans. There's already going to be less fans than there were against Army, even though
it's so disappointing because, the hype was military appreciation, Army. That stadium was, at the beginning of the game, a third full.
Yeah. Well, that's also a 12 noon game. We stopped doing them in 2022. We stopped. 2022 was the last year we had them. Then in 2023, we didn't do any last year. And now we brought them back. And it's like, I remember my last noon game I went to as a fan. There was freshmen getting taken away in ambulances because
it was 178 degrees on the field.
Yeah, you go out, especially for these freshman girls, and freshman guys too. You come out from these Long Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, and then you're in a tailgate. You're drinking. You're sweating. And then you're walking into the stadium and sitting in the blaring sun. That's a danger. You want to talk about just grit and grind. It's college kids, but it gets hot. It gets real hot, and it's much easier to just go back in your dorm, get some AC, and keep drinking there. And if FAU doesn't put together on the field, even make it look good. Even if it's a dogfight against FIU, I still think the fans are going to react poorly in terms of attendance. That's just how it is at FAU. When the team starts losing, it struggles to retain the fan base. I think, unfortunately, there's a potential that fans see that this weekend. But on that same note, attendance is always good for FIU. So if the fans are gonna come out for one game despite a loss, it's gonna be this FIU game. So I think there's a chance that the attendance is better than Army. But should they lose this game, all bets are off. 15K or less at games. Yeah.
I mean, look, there is a possibility that if you are local and you show up to the game this week, that you will see Pitbull. I mean, that is a possibility because direct tie to FIU. So you want to be in this same place, same time as Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide, FAU football stadium this weekend. Real quick, and then I'll let you go. Is the AAC better than people think? Did you see USF in Alabama the other day?
Yeah, we talked about that last night.
Did you? All right. I'm sorry. I was watching the debate.
Yeah, you were watching the debate. No, but it was good.
You know,
we talked about this exact thing. The AAC is definitely the premier G5 conference right now. Nothing against the Mountain West, but I just think if you were to put these two teams in a tournament right now, the AAC would end up with more winners. And that's, you've got an Army and Navy. I mean, right now at the top of the conference, there's a chance if the season ended today, they would be in the finals. And so they're two well-oiled machines right now who are both programs with veterans, both Navy and Army. They have juniors and seniors that have been in the program. They're not transferring out to go get NIL deals. In football, that matters, especially when you're running these option-style offenses where you just need execution, you need plus blockers, and that's what they get. So Army and Navy, they are threats that people, might just count out because they're the service academies. But outside of them, I mean, look at Tulane. They took Kansas State almost to the epitome of brutality. They were tied late in that fourth quarter. Tulane's got a heck of a freshman quarterback. His name's Darian Mensah. Threw for like 300 and something yards, couple scores against Kansas State.
That guy's smart too, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like Tom Herman, Mensa, baby. He's a Mensa member as well, if you didn't know that.
My daughter is Mensa.
Oh, wow. The more you know.
Yeah.
That's something I probably won't touch. But,
that's about all I know is that my daughter's smart and I'm not. That's about all I know. All right. So Temple win. All right. Let's go through it. Temple, we're going to beat. All right.
I think so.
We're going to beat. You guys are going to beat. Charlotte. They look pretty bad.
So Charlotte against North Carolina, they looked horrible against James Madison. But Charlotte, they were scrabbing and clawing in that game against North Carolina. Their quarterback got hurt. They put in a freshman named Deshaun Purdy. He looked good for Charlotte. I don't know necessarily how much, they'll roll with him once their quarterback comes back. But, that was positive signs for Charlotte. I think their coaching staff is a bit of an issue. If you ever get a chance to watch a Biff Poggi press conference, you'll know what I'm talking about. He refuses to give injury reports.
It's like Larry the Cable Guy. That's the guy, right? I'm thinking of he cuts the sleeves off.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yep. Got it.
So he's in his own world over there. So I hope, if they can get past him and his interesting style of coaching, then that would be surprising. But I would at the moment count that as a win for FAU. But FAU has yet to show they can score more than 7 points in terms of touchdowns. Obviously, they hit a field goal against Michigan State, but I'm gonna need to see some production out of that offense before I try. Even Temple. I mean, I think Temple scored twice this week against
they got 14 points total, so they had 3 in the first game. So that means that they got 11.
They only scored 11. Okay, so Temple and FAU, they're in the same boat right now, yet to score 2 touchdowns in the same game.
I'm not going to run through this whole conference. I was going to, but we're running along on time. And it's too early. And look, there are, in my opinion, but I'm just the football fan that likes to bet on this stuff. USF. USF is the team to beat in this division, to me. I'm afraid when they come to Boca because they got payback on their mind from last year.
They do.
That onside kick, I bet you they're still talking about it.
Yeah, USF, they looked good against Alabama. They did fall short in that one after Alabama took out number 75, who was the worst tackle I think I've ever seen in sports. I mean, they put a new right tackle in the game, and then they proceeded to run it for 2 touchdowns in garbage time against USF and run up the score. So I think USF got a little bit lucky. They were able to capitalize, however. That's good coaching. They were able to capitalize off of a really unfortunate performance from Alabama's offensive line in that one. But yes, USF is going to be good. They've got a really good quarterback who's second year in the system now. Better defense than last year. I don't know necessarily. Are they better than Tulane or Memphis? I don't think so. But in terms of FAU's schedule of the teams they play, yeah, they're the best team in the AAC they'll face.
All right, tell everybody where to find you. Let me throw this back up. You get a few shows that you're doing every week on a few different channels, but it's all going to come together here on one. But go ahead. Let everybody know.
So right now we're doing FAU half and an AAC half on Tuesday nights. It's called the La Stella Report at the moment, just to boost my ego a little bit. But we'll work on a name just to kind of loop everything together. And then on the Owl's Nest, because I know there's some FAU fans who don't want to hear me talk about the conference, so we go only Owls on the Inside the Burrow podcast. Right now, it's only available on the FAU Owl's Nest YouTube, but like AJ said, new things may be happening that I'm not aware of. So
what's really cool right now, no one is aware of this unless somebody stumbled across it. But so we're broadcasting right now to Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, also directly to the BleacherBrothers.com website. So first time you did notice it?
I did not know.
No, it wasn't. This is the test, and so far so good. So, yeah, BleacherBrothers.com. So if you can't get us on anywhere else, you can just go to BleacherBrothers.com, go to watch, go to live shows, and boom, all the shows in real time and then on demand and all that jazz. So, dude, we appreciate you coming on. You got a show tomorrow on Owl's Nest?
We do, 3 p.m., or that's what time we're recording it. It'll be out at 7 p.m., and we're talking with an FIU beat writer. So we'll get to hear the FIU side of things and see if FAU's got a fighting shot in this one.
Awesome. We appreciate you jumping on always. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to screw Aiden's last name up, but it's, see, I immediately, because I'm the complete opposite of Mensa Robbie, I just give everybody dopey nicknames.
I thought it was acapella. I was trying to read it and but that's not what it is. So.
I'm like alopecia, and that makes me think of Will Smith and Chris Rock and the whole. It's she has alopecia. She's not bald when he slapped him, and you know what I'm talking about or no? Is this an old person that's just happened like a year ago at the Grammys or the?
Wait, no, yes.
When he made it. So anyway, but Aiden, who is our NFL analyst, covers Jacksonville Jaguars for us. He's joining us. We're just going to take a quick break. Robbie, thank you. Everybody stay where you're at. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Don't ever let me be. I only wanna be by your side. Please don't ever let me be. I only wanna be by your side. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing, yeah. Oh yeah, you really got me now. Got me so I can sleep at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me.
Steven, are you awake? You don't
Yes.
nod off. You do not nod off during the volleyball games, do you?
No.
All right, you can't because you got to keep score and you got to keep track of the
score and
wheelbarrow.
everything. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. We'll get into that, buddy. All right.
Yep.
We will get into it at some point. Let me real fast, and we'll get to this after Aiden. And then I have a confirmation that Looch on Ice is happening tonight. We need to, if this goes the way I told him it needs to go, this will be epic with Looch on Ice tonight. And I have a feeling that Mrs. Looch will be there along with Stella. Because Looch just came from the dentist. And what did we learn when Nick came in from the dentist and he was all novocated up? That we should have broke out a slap contest. So if this goes the way we plan, the Looches will be actually just be Mrs. Looch slapping the shit out of Mr. Looch. But I got to mention real fast, Steven, a new friend of the show's, all right? This is, and I think I got to go like this. We got to get this down, Steven. We got to get this down so I don't have to do anything and you can just, you can drive the car and I can ride, but Rebet is the newest, the hottest, and literally I started using it a week ago. All the guys started using it a week ago, with the exception of Steven. They, for some reason, they think Steven is a bot and they will not let him in. They cannot verify him, but Rebet is it's a social network sports book. So you literally join this thing. There's all kinds of, you don't have to put any money in to join it. You can join it with no money. You can get coins and tokens and do all your stuff. But sort of like Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you can follow your buddies, your friends on there, keep up with everybody's bets, what they have going on. You can bet against each other head to head. And Rebet will sort of admin the whole thing for you for no fees. It is absolutely, everybody's enjoying the heck out of this thing right now. Special promo that's going on with Rebet right now. And this is available almost in every single state. So go grab your phone, download the sucker, Rebet. The bonus that they have for new users is sign up. They will give you a 100% deposit match up to $100. And something else that's a little bit different about this, Steven, do you know what it is? Must be 18 or older, not 21. So 18 or older on Rebet. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, all right? Let's get right into NFL action. I'm not loaded up. It's probably here somewhere, but anyway. Aiden, man, so I got to unmute you, buddy. Unmute yourself on your side, all right?
There we go. Can you hear
There
me?
you go. Yes. So Aiden, how do I say your last name without my crazy nickname?
Apicella Stroop.
What is it?
Apicella Stroop.
Stroop. Where the hell is the Stroop? Holy cow!
I got two last names.
Apicella. All right. So Apicella sounds Italian, like Carlucci.
Yep.
And what is the Stroop? Is German? Dutch?
Dutch, yeah.
Dutch. Wow. All right. Cool. Well, you're NFL analyst, man. You're the guy, bro. You're banging it out. Give me your take on week one. What surprised you? What did go week one?
The big thing that I really want to talk about is something big, and by big I mean big players. Rookie offensive linemen in recent years have come in and day one immediately dominated. It's been seen throughout recent years from the top tackles immediately entering the league, from Tristan Wirfs to Christian Darrisaw for Minnesota and Penei Sewell for the Lions. Creed Humphreys, the best center in the league for KC. Linderbaum was a Pro Bowler for the Ravens. Constantly, these young offensive linemen are coming in and immediately playing at a high level, and instantly, week one, a plethora of offensive linemen dominated in their very first week.
So who changed the outcome of a game, or who stood out the most to you this weekend?
There's a few that I have some notes on, but first I'm going to start off with Joe Alt. the highest picked offensive lineman by the Chargers. He didn't play as much as the other players I'd like to talk about, but Joe Alt went one-on-one on
All
11
right.
reps.
Hang on 1 second, Aiden. We got your connection just went sideways, buddy. You
Uh-oh.
froze up and you sound robotic. Why don't you try to reset? Log out and log back in,
Okay.
and let's see if we can get it reset. All right, real quick. And while Aiden resets, Steven, what can you tell me about Wrexham?
I don't know anything.
Not rectum. I didn't say rectum. I said Wrexham.
I don't know anything. It's all I know. It's about soccer.
Uh-huh. All right. Do you have FX?
I do.
All right. So I highly recommend to everyone to go to FX. You got to go back a few seasons and watch Welcome to Wrexham. Get more into that in a little bit. But all right, Aiden, let's try it again. Go ahead.
All right. Hopefully, there's no more issues. But I really wanted to talk about Joe Alt. Joe Alt didn't play as much as the other rookie offensive linemen, but he played 11 snaps against the Raiders, lined up one-on-one against Max Crosby every single rep, didn't allow a single pressure against a top 10 player, arguably, in the entire league.
And your feed is still not great, but what team is he on?
He is the first-round pick for the Chargers, Joe Alt.
Chargers. Okay. All right. And did the Chargers surprise you overall this weekend? I know that we have a Charger beat writer. We have beat writers all over the place here now. And he happens to be a Charger fan too. You're not supposed to be emotionally involved, I don't think, with who you're covering, but he is, and he was quite excited with the Chargers.
Yeah. They didn't necessarily surprise me. They played the Raiders, but there were single performances that definitely stood out to me. Overall, I think that they should be a solid team this year, though, and I think they showed that this Sunday.
And you know why they were a good bet this past week? I believe that Jim Harbaugh has never, ever lost an opening game.
Really?
I could be wrong, but the research that I was able to do, yeah, never lost an opener. Now watch. Someone will probably find like 12 in a row that he lost, but as a coach, anyway, never lost an opener.
Yeah.
So, what else did you like?
But there's plenty of other offensive linemen. I'll just do some quick runoffs. The left tackle for the Saints, Talis Fuaga, played 26 snaps, allowed 0 pressures. He was the first-round pick for New Orleans. And then the second-round pick for the Steelers, Zach Frazier at center, played 28 snaps. Again, 0 pressures. Center Cooper Beebe for the Cowboys played 36 snaps at center, almost the entire game, didn't allow any pressure. And then Dominic Pooney for the 49ers also impressed heavily with a pretty nasty pancake in the game.
All right, Aiden, we are just, your connection is bad, buddy. I hate to say it, but you're frozen up and you're robotic sounding. Look, everyone can. We're gonna try this again in the upcoming shows, but everyone can go to BleacherBrothers.com and look for Aiden. Puts out tremendous NFL, Jaguars, everything. The connection and the issues that we're having are not doing you justice or what you can do justice right now because you're in and out, and we're not going to try it again right this second. All right, okay, go ahead, Aiden. Let's try to stick with it. Someone said they're hearing you okay, so go ahead.
Okay.
Where are you next?
I was going to continue on talking about the rookie receivers. Because again, another rookie position plethora of players that dominated immediately to open up the weekend. Leading off that list, Brian Thomas Jr. for the Jaguars had 4 catches for 47 yards and a touchdown, and he would have had an even more impressive day. He had what would have been a 41-yard touchdown covered by Jalen Ramsey in his hands before pass interference in the end zone. Brian Thomas Jr., he excelled throughout the entire game, and he even went on to have the highest EPA per route run for a rookie debut of all time for any wide receiver. But continuing on, Xavier Worthy, he touched the ball 3 times, had over 60 yards and 2 touchdowns for Kansas City. Lad McConkey came in and immediately looked like the top receiver for the Chargers, having 5 catches and 40 yards and a touchdown.
Go backwards for a second to Kansas City. How huge is this for them? Because this was their biggest problem last year, and they won the Super Bowl with this gigantic problem with no one could catch the ball.
Absolutely. Xavier Worthy is going to be a insane difference maker for Kansas City. Their receiving core has been questionable in the past, and Kansas City has still found ways to prevail, but now they have the speedster in Xavier Worthy, who some people sleep on his route running, but if you watch his game, you know for a fact he dominates at every level of the field. He's going to be a star player for him, and truthfully, he has a really good chance to be Rookie of the Year, especially alongside Rashee Rice. That receiver core is looking far better for Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City could pull off the easiest three-peat ever pulled off in history.
They're definitely the favorites.
Yeah, they gotta be.
It's hard to doubt them.
Let me ask you this. Let me pull you off for a second. Your pre-recorded notes and say of one team, just go team. One team that you say, oh my God, what happened here? This wasn't supposed to happen. Is there someone that you can say, yeah, this didn't go the way I saw it ahead of time?
Absolutely. That would be the Jacksonville Jaguars, which happened to be the team that I covered. And one, I thought that was a game that it could have gone either way, but I was leaning the Jaguars. But more importantly, in the game, throughout almost 3/4 of football, the Jacksonville Jaguars were dominating. Trevor Lawrence was doing his thing. All the receivers were shining. The defense held Miami's electric offense to just 7 points through 3 hours of football almost. Yet, after a fantastic drive led by Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars got down to the 1-yard line, and then Travis Etienne had the ball punched out, fumbled in the end zone. Miami recovered, and the very next play, 80-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill. Miami has all of the momentum you could possibly ask for. And not only that, but on the very next play, after the PAT, kick returner Parker Washington fumbles again.
Is it safe to say that all Jaguar fans were rooting for the police in the pregame Tyreek Hill versus the police?
Oh man, that definitely was a pretty ridiculous story, but
did you see the body cam video that came out?
I absolutely saw it. I don't know if you saw, but Tyreek Hill wasn't the only star player for Miami that got arrested there. Calais Campbell went over to have some words, and they put him in handcuffs as well.
Yeah, I did see this. This is a touchy subject, I guess. I don't know if I'm using the correct terminology here, but initially, and we kind of broke this as it happened because we were there. Nick the Flick and Chef Tom sent this out as it was happening on Sunday. And, Tyreek Hill just got arrested in the parking lot. I'm like, yeah, all right. So I'm not really, that doesn't surprise me. It's like, wow, that doesn't happen every day. But, okay, I'm not surprised by that. I figured child support was owed somewhere. I immediately went to, all right, yeah, well, you know what? Guilty. Whatever he did, I'm sure. But when I see the footage, look, Tyreek Hill should have acted differently when he was initially pulled over. He had a bad attitude, but everything after that was the police. I mean, their people should be fired. Some of these cops should have examples made out of them. In my opinion, I'm not going to do a whole big social piece on this, but every time the situation could have de-escalated, the police escalated it back up.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks.
It was just a little confusing. I remember at the beginning they were asking Tyreek to get out of the car, and he was like on his phone and shut the window on him. So the beginning, trying to get him out of the car, I understand, but they definitely went about it aggressively. And I especially when Calais Campbell tried having just a word from a safe distance without any violent language or anything, that was especially questionable.
And look, there were multiple cops in the wrong here, but there was one cop who was specifically like the hammer that was hammering in these nails. And this guy should, I understand that one officer has been put on suspension right now. But there's a few that probably should lose their badges over this. And look, I am pro police. Everybody who knows me knows who I am, but you know what? You got to call it the way you see it. It's like watching the debate last night. Then I put Fox on, and they're talking about what a great job Donald Trump did. It was the worst job he's ever done in his life. Same thing with this. I saw what I saw. I saw what happened. These cops were out of line. They said, "Get out of your car," and then they just ripped him out of the car 1 second later.
Yeah.
His attitude could have been different, and it might not have gone this way. But he's not trained to be a calm guy when he gets pulled over by the police. The police are trained to de-escalate situations, not throw lighting fluid on it. So anyway, I'm hijacking you here, but hey, in real quick, because we got a minute. What are you looking forward to this weekend, or what should we look forward to this weekend?
What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to some good teams that lost last week coming in this week and proving that they can win some football games. There's a lot of good teams that lost last week that I think have a chip on their shoulder and are ready to prove it going into this weekend.
Are you talking about the Packers, one of those teams?
Packers are one of them.
What about the Falcons? Are the Falcons one?
Falcons, I think, definitely can. I think the Rams, the Jaguars, the Colts,
the Bengals.
And the Bengals definitely should be upset. Patriots. Opening weekend, that was a tough game, but there's a lot of teams that I think are going to be really good that got upset last weekend.
What about the New York Jets?
The New York Jets, I think they started off impressive.
What do you mean? Because Aaron Rodgers made it through 5 plays as opposed to 4? Was that the impressive part?
Basically. Garrett Wilson started off the game hot and then cooled down. Overall, the offense started out hot, scored a very early on touchdown, took the lead, and then immediately lost it, and they weren't quite close to ever regaining that lead. But there's a lot of teams with a lot of potential still, and I think not only their fans need to see a win, but I think the players are going to really come out of the gates hot this upcoming weekend, trying to prove that they still are in this.
They have to. And I think the Bengals have the hardest part of it all, because they go into Kansas City, if I'm correct. Don't they go into Kansas City this week? Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals get a nice old-fashioned ass whooping in Kansas City, because you would think that Kansas City is above revenge, because you hear about Burrowhead.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, but Kansas City's won the last 2 Super Bowls, and Burrowhead has been, getting splinters in his rear end because he's hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot. Of course, it's way too early to tell who's good and who's not good after one game. But all right, so everybody can catch all of your content on Bleacher Brothers. Is there anywhere you want them to follow you, on X or Instagram or anything?
On X, it's Aiden Apicella. That's it. And then on Instagram, jaguars.legend.
Jaguars Legend. All right.
I do some scouting for college prospects, do some Jaguars news on my stories.
Buddy, we appreciate you hopping on. Next time, we will make sure that we don't have the technical issues, and everyone will be seeing a lot more of Aiden. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to switch gears and go to hockey with Looch on ice. So everybody stay where you're at. You are listening to or watching the Bleacher Brothers show. I need a song. Steven, come on, man. There we go. We'll be right back.
Bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt. Turn around, stick it out, show the world you got a bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt. Turn around, stick it out, show the world you got a
Drop it low, put it in the dirt. Sex drive, put it in reverse. Killed the ass, put her in a hearse. Then I drove off and put it in the dirt. Drop it low, put it in the dirt. Take your top off, turn into a bird. Bubble butt, bust it in the throat. Smoking bubble kush, wearing a bubble coat.
bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt. Turn around, stick it out, show the world you got a bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt. Turn around, stick it out, show the world you got a
Wine, go down, turn and flick it. So girl, let me know if I angle the wicket. One bat, two ball, swing it like cricket. My locks like my ass, make me show you all my wicked. Baby, make me tell you about that body, yeah. Make you vibrate like a Nokia. When my wine and broke off the body, yeah. Even cartel up here.
bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt. Turn around, stick it out, show the world you got a bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt, bubble butt, bubble 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 butt. Turn around, stick it out, show the world you got a
Okay, open up your bubble gum, let me see your bumper. The booty so smooth, can't believe it's not butter. I go in from under, she wetter than the surfer. I ate the pussy fast, I'm about to start burping. I burp and relick the bottom of the surface.
Looch, I can't take any more of that, buddy. I was completely unprepared. We're out of practice here, and I just hit a button, and that's what we got.
Yeah, I hear you, man. That was.
Oh.
I'm listening to that song. I'm saying I never heard that one before.
Yeah, no, we're gonna get rid of that one, and we're not gonna hear it again. So my apologies to all
I've
the.
heard a couple similar songs,
Oh,
but nothing like that.
all right. Where's Mrs. Looch? Everybody's waiting. All right, we want her to come in.
Uh-oh.
We need this. We need the slap, bro. We need it. We
Oh,
need
yeah?
to see how novocated up you are.
I don't think she's home yet.
How convenient for you, huh?
She is on her way home though, so
That'd be great. Just when the Novocaine. That's how we'll end the show. The Novocaine wears off, and boom, she puts you down for the count.
yeah, it is starting to wear off a little bit. I am still a little numb because it feels weird talking. I haven't talked since I had the Novocaine, so it's definitely strange. I did try to drink some water, and I'm having one of these Sun Cruisers, as you probably know. The
Sun Cruiser, yes, the official sponsor of the dinosaur bike tour.
right, Bleacher Brothers and Looch on Ice, man. It was awesome.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, it's a little challenging, man, because it wants to dribble out of my mouth, and I haven't had this feeling in a while. So,
This is like a whole Kramer episode right here on a Seinfeld show.
yeah, and it got a little crazy at the dentist too today, which I want to like maybe just touch on it real quick.
Do it.
Oh God! So I sit in the office, and I finally get into the room, and the girl says to me, "You're here to have a crown done, right?" I said, "No, I don't think so. I think I have a cavity in the back." She says, "No, I got you down for a crown." I said, "Wait a minute, I don't have a crown." I said, "Unless I had one before and I don't remember getting it." She's like, "Oh, let me do X-rays." So she does the X-ray, she checks it, and she sees that that in fact it's a cavity. So the doctor comes in. They had the wrong person's name when I went into the office, I thought I was getting a freaking crown at first. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Thank God, bro. They didn't remove your liver or your appendix or something, you know?
Then I end up in another room. They said, we're going to take you in the other room. So because they put me in the wrong room. The other guy, Chris, his name was supposed to be in that room. He was getting a crown done. They put me in another room. The doctor comes in. She says, you're getting 2 cavities done today. I said, 2 cavities? I said, I only got 1 cavity. What's going on here? I said, no, I think it's only 1. She checks. Sure enough, she says it's 1 cavity. I don't know what the hell was going on.
Wow, Looch,
Yeah.
were you going to the dentist at the Three Stooges?
I don't know, man. Then I started getting nervous. I said, uh-oh. And then the guy had to check my name twice. He says, your name's Anthony. I said, yeah, Carlucci. I said, what was your birth date? So I had to tell him my birth date. They were just double checking stuff for me. And I didn't get out of there for like 2 hours. I don't even think they had me down as an appointment for today. I don't know why, but I did confirm.
Way to avoid this, play more hockey. You'll just get your teeth knocked out and you won't have to worry about any of this.
Yes. So sure enough, it went all right. Now I'm still numb. I don't know what's going on. Probably almost 2.5, 3 hours now.
I got to deal with this light for a second. I'm with you.
So, yeah, so that was my experience at the dentist today. I had a nice cavity filled, which was good, and they said it was an extra big cavity, which I haven't had done in I don't know how long. But anyway, that was my fun experience at the dentist today. And I wasn't feeling good after I walked out of there. I was a little lightheaded, and they were like, as soon as I had it done, they were like shoving me out the door. Like they just wanted to go home and get me the hell out of there.
Well, yeah, they weren't expecting you. They were expecting 4 other people that they were all set up for, and you threw a monkey wrench in the whole plan, bro.
Yeah, it was fun and exciting, that's for sure.
Let me hit this other light real fast.
Yeah, you're like in the dark there, brother. So that's it, my man. Long time no see, man. We've been off for a while, and
we have, but we're back.
Yeah, it's been a crazy couple weeks, man.
A lot. Did you see the debate last night?
I did. I watched some of it. I fell asleep during some of it. I got up and I just said, "To hell with this. I'm going to sleep," because I didn't like the way it was going. I didn't like the way Trump was. I don't know.
It wasn't going well for him, was it?
No, it didn't seem like it. He wasn't really prepared. Kamala was, I don't know.
She seemed more presidential than he did last night.
Right. I guess you could say that.
Hey, look, I don't want her to win.
Right.
I'm calling it the way I see it. He seemed like a blabbing fool, and she seemed presidential. She held it together last night.
Right. I was a little disappointed, but like I said, I fell asleep halfway through it too.
So did Joe Biden.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, so a lot's happened, but in the blink of an eye, Looch, hockey starts in 2 weeks.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We get some preseason going on, what is that, it's a Sunday. I think it's the 21st. Or Saturday, I'm sorry.
Now, where people can find this out, Looch, is they can go to BleacherBrothers.com.
Right.
And they can go to NHL, and they can pull this information up on there. And the website is going through, as we speak, this is kind of like your teeth today at the dentist.
Yeah.
Like we go to remove a cavity and we give 4 root canals instead. But everything will be there that you want for NHL, NFL, NCAA, MLB. You name it, we got it. All over the world, European soccer, the whole 9 yards. But yeah, I mean, hockey, because the finals were so good, nobody kind of checked out. You didn't check out when the Rangers lost. You were invested in the finals.
Oh yeah, I loved every minute of it. It was great.
And now it's back.
Yeah, I can't believe how fast the summer went. It's ridiculous. Just, I don't know. As you get older, maybe it does go faster. Who the hell knows? Just definitely seems like it.
The days seem to never end sometimes, but the weeks just fly by.
Right. Oh, yeah. You hit it right on the head, man. Yep. I agree.
So so there was some really kind of effed up hockey news last
Yeah,
week, and
just
of course it was close to you because everything morbid in the past year that happens to anyone somehow has a connection to you. I'm not joking about what happened, but
right.
yeah, you want to
Ter-
tell us what your relationship was, and Steven's got clips. So if you want the clip, just tell us and I'll pop it up.
Yeah, just terrible, just really terrible news with Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matt Gaudreau. Uh, Bad, tragic accident. Um, it's just it gets worse as time goes on. It seems like it got worse. Just the news of like everything that happened after, before and after. You know, Gaudreau's their daughter sister was getting married on Friday, so both of the Gaudreaus were in town. I think Matthew lives, uh, you know, in the town. I think it's Sewell or Carney's Point, somewhere over there on the west side of New Jersey. But
This is down
uh,
south, right? Like below Philly,
yeah,
sort of. Okay.
it's a little south of Philly, south of Trenton there.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of a farm. I think it's farm area. But anyway, yeah. First I heard of it was I was got home from Blue Claws that night on Thursday. I started looking on Twitter and looking on Facebook, and I'm seeing news of two people getting killed in Salem County, and I'm like, oh, you know, something happened. And then I'm seeing that it's, you know, it could be Johnny Gaudreau and his brother, or Johnny Gaudreau and a family member, and I'm like, no, this can't be true. And then I'm hearing that, oh, people are saying it's rumors, this and that. Don't be spreading rumors about Johnny Gaudreau. This is wrong. So that was probably about 10:30, I think, at night. And about
Now
you know,
let's give a little backstory here. Is that you're not just like feeling this because you're a hockey fan and he's a hockey
right,
player, right?
right.
You've been following this kid since
Oh
he was a
God,
kid.
since he was young, my nephew lived out there in Sicklerville, and he used to skate at the same rink, Hollydale. He's the same age as Johnny, and he used to play at the Hollydale rink. And you know, I used to watch the kid on the ice at that young age. I mean, it had to be, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 years old, and the kid was he was phenomenal on the ice already. His father would teach at the rink, you know, skating and stick handling, and this kid was just phenomenal. I mean, from a young age, you saw it. He was head and shoulders above everybody else, and his father just pushed him and pushed him as a kid, uh, and it was just scary how good he was at that young age. And I lost touch a little bit, maybe as he got a little bit older, and then through high school, my nephew also started playing against them. Johnny was played at Gloucester Catholic, and my nephew was playing at CBA. So they would play each other, uh, you know, a few times through the season, and then a couple times in the finals. Because with Johnny Gaudreau playing with Gloucester Catholic, they became such a great team, and his father was was the coach of the team, Guy Gaudreau. So we got to see him play often, you know, throughout this 3 or 4 years that he was with Gloucester Catholic, and just watching the kid grow up. And I remember posting stuff. I look back at my post on Facebook. I think it was 2014, saying that this kid was going to be a phenomenal player. Uh, he went through Boston College. He won the Hobie Baker Award at college. As we know, that's the top college player in the U.S. And just kind of like, I talked to my brother about it, and he's just like, you know, he mentions their names, like the family names, and it's just like, I can't believe that this happened to this family. Such a great family, such a, you know, like, I knew how much of a great player he was, but I didn't know about his family as much. I could say that, you know, I can't say that I'm friends with him, or I was friends with him, but maybe as like a far off acquaintance, or you know, if he heard our last name, he might say, "Oh yeah, I remember that, you know, them from playing back in Hollydale and in high school." So I can't say that I'm, you know, family friends or anything like that. not going to claim that, but just watching this kid throughout his career was just phenomenal. I mean, and like I said, I've watched him since Hollydale back in the day. His father was a phenomenal guy and a hockey player.
And
You know,
and Gradell was really good in the NHL, right?
oh yeah, what an unbelievable player! I think he was 4-time All-Star, made the All-Star team his first year in the NHL. It was a little bit by default because I think somebody was hurt that year, and he was the next one being called up. And I thought he was going to make the All-Star team the first year anyway. Just the type of player he is. He was a small player, something like a Theo Fleury or a Marty St. Louis, Danny Briere or somebody like that. I think he was 5'7" or 5'8", but just a puck handler. I watched him score a goal at Gloucester Catholic against my nephew's team against CBA one year, and it was just a wraparound goal from behind the net. He just came around, and that was his signature goal. He came around the backside of the net and just scored a phenomenal goal. And I said, this kid's something special. And my brother was the same way. We both knew that this kid was going to be a phenomenal player, and he was, bound to make the NHL. And sure enough, he made the NHL, and he was a star in the NHL. And from what a lot of his teammates in Columbus and Calgary have said, and it just rings true, that he was just a phenomenal player and a phenomenal kid, or guy, I should say, because he wasn't a kid. I still look at him as a kid because, that's how I remember him mostly.
You want a clip of this?
This is I think this is Gloucester Catholic and Del Barton in the state finals at Prudential Center, The Rock. I'm pretty
Takes
sure.
the shot. It actually hits McSparron's pad, then goes into his glove, and he holds on.
Still for a side here. And then a 20-second power play for the Rams. Right point, Davis, high and wide of the net.
Yeah, Gaudreau gets a nice
Broja
pass
on the near
here.
boards. Back to Davis off his stick. Stays in the zone. Gathered up by the Rams.
There's Gaudreau.
John Gaudreau. Left circle scores, and we're tied at 2. The coach's son, his 22nd of the season.
Why did they have to say that, the coach's son? They didn't have to do that. They could have just left it alone.
Yeah, no, I got it. I hear you. Yeah, and you can't forget his brother, also Matthew Gaudreau, who was his younger brother, and from what the family, I watched the funeral and just the way they talked about the two of them, they were inseparable with each other. Johnny would come home from playing in the NHL, and he would stay in his childhood room, and his brother would be in the next bed next to him, and they just were two peas in a pod from what I heard, man. It's just crazy how they just both were
It's devastating, dude.
Yeah, it's just, and the story doesn't get better, man. It's just, like I was saying earlier, the sister was supposed to get married on Friday. They passed on Thursday. I think they had the rehearsal on Wednesday night. When I got home from the Blue Claws on Thursday night, I started texting my nephew probably about 12:30, and I said, Tom, do you think this is true? Like, what's going on here? Did you hear about it? And he didn't even know about it. I said, yeah, I saw it on Facebook and Twitter. He says, no, it can't be true. Can't be true. I checked my phone at about 3 o'clock in the morning. I still hadn't gotten any good confirmation from it. 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, I get up for work and started looking again, and still didn't have 100% confirmation. I think one of the NHL referees, Tim Peel, had said that he was talking to people in Calgary and said that it was probably true. I wanted to wait till I heard from somebody in maybe Calgary or Columbus, and then I saw the news from Columbus, and I was just like, it was a terrible day at work on Friday, man. I could not think straight. I had people coming into work talking about it. I had people at work just like other employees at work talking about it. and it was hard to concentrate, and it would hit me in like waves, as it would probably hit in a lot of people in waves. But I just felt that certain, not just as a hockey fan, but to know this kid and watch him grow up and to see him and just, it was just terrible. And it didn't, it's still, I still feel it from time to time, and I'm sure I will for a while. I can't imagine what the family's going through to lose two sons like that, and you know, just unbelievable how it happened. And Matthew's wife pregnant, younger brother, and then at the funeral, Johnny Gaudreau's wife Meredith, I think her name is Meredith, yeah. She announced that she was pregnant at the freaking funeral. Man, it's just unbelievable.
Wow.
The kid had a birthday on Johnny Gaudreau had a birthday on the 13th. September 4th was his anniversary, and then at the funeral, his wife announces that she's pregnant with their third child. And it chokes me up thinking about it, man. Just like, I don't know how it hits other people, maybe hockey fans. Like, I don't know if it's, I don't know. I felt so many emotions with it. It's like gut wrenching. Like, I just tried to put the words to it, and it's just, I don't know. I can't explain it.
Yeah, well, you have, even though it was an acquaintance or a contact, there's still a personal
Right.
sort of attachment to him,
Right.
as opposed to Ron Duguay or just whatever, Eddie Mio
Right.
or whoever. You know what I mean? Oh man, I love that guy. He was a great player. Oh, he died. Wow, that sucks. But this is much more because
100%.
Yeah,
It's
no,
that
I understand.
that next level it felt like, my nephew is still friends with a lot of his friends that skate with him and skated with him in the summer times. At Hollydale, they'd go out and skate, and he still talks to some of these kids, and some of them I think we're gonna be in the sister's wedding. Kids, Anthony Calabrese, Buddy Robinson, Eric Robinson. I think Buddy Robinson and Eric Robinson's still in the NHL. I'm not sure if Buddy Robinson's still in the NHL. Roman Amarato. Just these are kids that I watched throughout the years that have played over there at that Hollydale rink. My nephew moved away. He moved, back to Bricktown, and then he moved down to North Carolina, so he hasn't had the contact with them as much as these kids that are still in that area. But yeah, it's just terrible. I mean, 31-year-old and a 29-year-old star hockey players. The younger brother Matthew Gaudreau, his wife was pregnant with their first child, I think it was, and he was the captain or the coach of the Gloucester Catholic team, which I didn't know about until this tragedy happened. Both hit by a car.
Drunk driver, right?
Drunk driver. The two cars, from what I hear, the two cars that were in front of this guy who was driving drunk, they both cars. The first car that saw the two, saw Johnny and Matthew, moves over to the left lane to get to kind of give them more room on the shoulder or wherever they were riding. The drunk driver passes the first car on the left side. Then I think he decided that the first car moves over to the left. He goes and passes the car on the right side instead of passing it on the left. And that's where the accident happened. So just crazy. Just how it happened. I think the guy had 5 or 6 beers, which is enough. Don't drive drunk. It's hopefully this is a lesson learned for a lot of people. I mean, it's just terrible tragedy that could have been avoided.
You think that it's good that hockey season is starting now so quickly after this?
Oh God, I don't know, man. That was a tough one. I did run that through my head, saying that this team's got to pick up the pieces, and this kid was a huge part of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and part of the locker room, a part of I think even Guy Gaudreau, the father, was a big part of the team. Going on the road with this team, and a lot of these teams they have where the fathers come in and they, travel with the team for an extended period of time, and I don't know. It's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I kind of threw that around in my head, saying, is it a good thing, or is it going to be even harder for the family seeing the team starting up and Johnny Gaudreau not being there. I'm sure it's going to be tough on the players. It's tough on the family. It's tough on a lot. It's going to be tough on a lot of people. I think they should hang his jersey up in the rafters at the least. Retire his jersey and do something extra special for him. It's not going to help the situation, but I don't know. It's a tough one, man, without a doubt. It's not an easy thing to go through. I'm sure the family, I just can't imagine what they're going through. Losing two kids that had four, I think it's the two girls and the two boys, and for the father and the mother and the wives, and just like it just trickles down the line, man. This kid was, I don't know. I can't find the words for it, man. It's just crazy.
No, I
Just
think
crazy.
what is this that we have? Do you know? Is this the funeral?
Yeah, this is his wife announcing. I think this is the wife announcing her being pregnant.
John and I had the best 6 months as a family of 4. These will forever be the best 6 months of my life. There's specifically one week that I will cherish forever and will be my favorite week of my life out of those 6 months. We're actually a family of 5. I'm in my 9th week of pregnancy with our 3rd baby. A total surprise, but again, John was beaming and so excited. I was so nervous because this was, again, a total surprise, but his reaction was just immediately kissing me and hugging me, even though I was driving the car. After the initial excitement sank in, every time he looked at me, he would just say, "You're nuts, you know that?" 3 kids. Noah, our oldest, hasn't even turned 2 yet. In less than 3 years of marriage, we've created a family of 5. It doesn't even sound possible, but I look at it as the ultimate blessing. How lucky am I to be the mother of John's 3 babies? Our last one being a blessing and so special, despite these difficult circumstances.
It makes you think, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like that, everything can change.
Yep.
For anyone.
Yeah, for anyone is right. And this, just definitely makes you think, without a doubt. So, yeah, and I just, just a phenomenal player. I was going to just touch on a few things. He won the Lady Byng Trophy in 2016, 2017 as best. I think Lady Byng is like best sportsmanship and like gentlemanly conduct or something in the NHL, which just this is a perfect example. His teammates talking about him. One of his teammates talked about him saying he would grab him once in a while and he would just pick him up and give him a bear hug and tell him that he wasn't letting him down until Johnny told him that he loved him. And then Johnny wouldn't say it because he loved to get bear hugs from the guy. So, just stuff like that. You try to look at the kind of the good things, and the positive things that this kid was about, and his brother too, Matthew. just come from a great family. You know, just Guy Gaudreau and his wife are just unbelievable people. I remember seeing him once in a while at the rink. Like I said, I didn't really get to know them too much, but he's definitely a hockey guy, big hockey guy. Instilled that in his kids, and it shows, man, just from all the years of hockey and stuff. If you listen to some of the things on the internet about the family, you hear nothing but good things, even from the players. They had nothing but good things. They loved him. They loved Johnny Gaudreau. So, you know, I guess it's going to be a tough road, and just kind of pray for the family and a lot of his close friends. So that's where we're at.
Where does it leave the Blue Jackets as a team? Are they good? Were they good? I mean, obviously, it's a huge loss.
Yeah, they're gonna struggle a little bit, I think, or maybe you never know.
Inspired.
Sometimes they get inspired, right? Some of the players are going to step up. You're going to have those certain few that were close to him. I think one guy just got traded to the team, and I think the wife mentioned two players that were really close to Johnny. It was Kevin Hayes and Sean Monahan was the player that I'm pretty sure he got traded to Columbus Blue Jackets, and I think this was going to be his first year playing with them too. From what I gather, I'm not 100% sure, but the wife did mention them too, and he was very close with Sean Monahan. They were like brothers, and I'm sure that's got to be tough, and maybe it'll inspire him a little bit to, I don't know how it's going to go. It could go either way. So we shall see. Columbus Blue Jackets. They may struggle a little bit. I know Patrick Laine is just coming back from doing some time in. I don't know what his issue was, but he had to go under the NHL's program for a short time. We'll see. They made some changes in their team, so. I don't know how it's going to work with cap space and stuff like that because Gaudreau's. I don't know if it's going to be hit on their cap still for a little while, or the NHL is going to make some kind of concessions where they can't consider it part of the cap. So that stuff will start to play out. I'm sure soon.
Well, this team can't be any good, Looch, because there's way too many Americans on this team.
Yeah, right.
I'm looking right now. There's too many guys named Johnson, first of all.
Yeah.
There's Harris and Oliver, and this is way too. And where am I getting this? BleacherBrothers.com. You don't even have to read it. There's a flag. USA, Canada, US, Canada. Jimmy would love this team in the finals because it's full of Canadians.
Right.
And USA guys, and a guy from Russia. So let me ask you this. The name... Rocco Bruno. Is that a hockey name or not?
Rocco Bruno. Doesn't sound like a hockey name. Is this an upcoming guy or?
This is the goalie that I will be reporting on and watching Friday night with the FAU Owls kick off. They're not kicking off when the puck drops on their new season. Right. And Rocco Bruno is, I mean, this just sounds like a Philadelphia name, right? He's from Philly, and he's the goalie. And I spoke to the media person, their media relations person yesterday, and he says, the first guest you guys have to get if you want to guest is Rocco Bruno. I'm like, with that name, he sounds like the first guest we want to get.
Right. Nice. Yeah.
So, I'll be in the Panthers' Den.
Oh, wow.
In, the Panthers' Den is where they play their home games in Coral Springs. I believe that it's the Panthers' old practice facility, the Panthers' Den, because they just moved into this humongous, gigantic, state-of-the-art new training facility. Right. And a friend of the show, sponsor of the show, is Palm Beach Water Purification. If you're in the South Florida area, Palm Beach Water Purification, all your water needs, softening, filtering, you name it, they got you covered. They just landed the account with the Florida Panthers for the new training facility. So that's pretty good score for both the Panthers and Palm Beach Water Purification.
Oh wow, nice. Sounds good.
Yeah, I
it's good stuff.
I talked to the owner and I said, look, can I weasel my way in there somehow? He goes, yeah, you can go down with me. Just keep your mouth shut. I said, okay, I'll do that. Oh,
Yeah, nice. Yeah, FAU's going to be stepping it up too this year in the hockey. I think they're moving up a division or something.
Well, there's a Division 2 and a Division 3. So there's two teams now. A Division 2, NCAA 2, NCAA 3. Again, it's a club hockey team. The whole college thing, new to me a year ago. I kind of learned my way around it, and now I'm getting the club teams, which I got to learn this. But he explained to me that their biggest problem is the same problem that everyone has in the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris world. It's that they don't have any money. Nobody's got any money, and they, he said that they have a good following though, and that they rock the building when they play.
Nice.
That it's standing room only. So yeah, I'm excited to get out there and cover them. And it snuck up on us because I got an email from, I guess I joined their mailing list at some point last year, and I got an email that says Friday night, first game. So I'm like, oh crap, we're not ready for this.
Yeah.
We got people on volleyball. We got people on soccer. We got people on women's soccer. We got people on football, and there's no people left. So I'm going to the Panthers Den on Friday night.
Cool. Oh yeah, that's exciting, man. That's great. That's good stuff. I like to hear that, being a hockey guy. You know what I mean?
You're gonna have to get down here and do some of this FAU Owls hockey coverage, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up the schedule for the FAU Owls, man.
For sure.
Definitely.
For sure. I don't know how this club stuff works because a lot of their schedule says the opponent to be announced. So I guess they pick the dates first and they figure out who's available to play.
Yeah,
could be me and you could get a team together and maybe play them one.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? I mean, it's what it seems like. But yeah, no, we're excited to cover them, and they're excited to have us cover them.
Nice. That's good stuff.
Your Yankees. It looks like Juan Soto maybe just went deep with your Yankees, who you follow. I got the game on here. He's celebrating. So Yankees are leading 2-1 in the bottom of the sixth. You
Nice.
following? Rizzo came back, right?
A little, yeah. I did. Yeah, I got to see Rizzo in what the hell was? Oh, Somerset. Yeah, I went out to Somerset the one day and watched him play, and I missed my opportunity to get down and talk to him. I was texting my cousin, and he said, I introduced myself to his father, which I don't know, I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I went up to him and I introduced myself to him. I said, who I am. I told him, I said, Sharon's my cousin, blah, blah, blah. And then I started texting my cousin who through marriage. And he's like, go hook up with my father and, you'll go meet Anthony. So I'm like, all right, sure enough, I look over and I think it was the fifth or sixth inning. I see them all standing up and I'm like, what are they doing? They must be leaving. So they all get up, they leave, and they're way back in the back of the stadium. And all of a sudden they pull Anthony out. So they must have had they must have got the word that Anthony was coming out of the game. So Anthony gets pulled out of the game. I was with my stepbrother and some of the kids, so I didn't really want to just jump up and leave and go. Then
you should do that. Yeah, so in those rehab assignments, they know that you're gonna play 6 innings. You're gonna get 2 at bats, 3 at bats, whatever.
Right.
Whatever. He is in the lineup tonight. He's batting 8th. He's 1 for 2, with 1 strikeout tonight so far.
Yeah. So then my cousin tells me, he's texting me later on. He's got a picture of him and his whole family with Anthony down in the in the back in the locker room, and he's like, "Look, see, I told you. Look what you missed. You should have hooked up with my father. You would have been there with them." So, what are you gonna do? I was out in Somerset. It was late. I wanted to get home, and we kind of cut out of the game kind of early too, just to get home. And
Okay, you know what? This
It's a little
Anthony
rough.
Rizzo thing is going to be just like the Jim Dowd thing.
Right.
All season long, Jim Dowd's coming. Jim Dowd's coming. Jim
Yep.
Dowd finally came right
Yeah.
before. So I probably right before next year's World Series, we'll get some Anthony Rizzo
Yeah.
FaceTime on the show here.
Right. Yeah, now he's up with the big team, back in the big leagues. So hopefully he's doing all right. I have him in my fantasy. I'm not sure how he's been doing. I think he's
He's 1 for 2 tonight. That's the
Yeah.
best I can tell you right now from what I'm
Take-
pulling up here on BleacherBrothers.com.
Yeah, and he looked good. He looked good in Somerset. I mean, but you're playing against different players. He hit a home run. I think it was his first at bat. He hit a nice home run over the wall. I think it was 400 something feet. So it was a little exciting. And he waves to his family, and I saw him wave when he came past the home plate. He waved over to them, and then it was pretty cool to see that.
That's a whole thing now. When they hit home runs now, they don't just run around the bases. Nobody does. They get a point to the dugout and not to the bullpen and wave to them, and then they gotta salute this guy and say a prayer as they cross home plate and pick out their family and all of that jazz. But it's all right.
Yeah. It's all
Hey,
good.
you want to hear something cool? Let me give you a list. All right. So I can't give out the exact date yet. All right. We'll be able to by next week. But here's a list of original Bleacher Brother programs that are going to be on the Bleacher Brother Sports Network, which will also be a digital app that you can take with you. Or you can just go to our website and listen or watch right there on the website, because we are streaming live to the website tonight also, Looch. But also eligible, Joe Q, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m., horse racing. Him and the sidekick pick winners, especially a couple weeks ago, because I was the sidekick, and we had a good day that day. AAC Weekly Roundup with Robbie LaStella, talking all about the American Athletic Conference, the LaStella Report. NFL Aftermath with Rockin' Reese and Captain Ron will be no politics. We've put that down for Captain Ron, no politics. But they'll be coming every single Tuesday or Wednesday with, NFL. You got White Noise with Gerald White. New Era Prep Nightly, which is actually not on nightly. It's only on a couple nights a week, but you get that with Christian Proscia. These things are, him and Robbie are pulling in huge numbers on live viewers. I mean, it's insane. People, you got the Joe Quill show. We got Looch on Ice. You got Back to the Dugout. You got, and coming up right after us here in a few minutes, Chef Tom's Tea Time for Betters, Bleacher Brothers Show, main event, fight stuff with Nick the Flick. And then you got BleacherBet, Bleacher soccer betting. We got game day NFL and NCAA betting. You got basketball bets coming up. It's we got a lot coming up. And Looch, let me hit this again real fast. Our new friend, where the heck are they? Rebet. All right, Rebet. It's brand new. It's fairly new. It's not brand new, but it's new. It's a social network sports book. I've got on it. Most of the guys associated with us have jumped on it. Everyone loves it. And Bleacher Bets over the weekend, out of 12 picks, we were 11 winners and 1 loss. We lost a $13,000 parlay by a half a point, but we also bet every game individually, so we came out ahead. For the Bleacher Bet picks for this weekend, you want to go to Instagram and go to Bleacher Bet on Instagram. Follow us, and in the stories, when we have picks, we'll put them out. If they're straight picks, if they're parlays, or whatever it is, we will put them out in the stories every single day. We're doing it for free. We ran a 90% winning ratio in the spring between hockey and baseball and basketball. And, right now, I don't know how to do this math, Looch, but we bet 12 and 11 of them won. That's a really high percentage, buddy. That's in the 90s. That I can tell you with my Frick Township education. But we got a lot going on. And this soccer, we are really going to dig deep into this soccer with a lot of soccer content. We're covering. I see us credentialed in Europe next year, covering soccer.
Nice.
Yeah, and have you seen this Wrexham Welcome to Wrexham show, Looch?
No, I haven't.
Do you even know what it is?
No.
Have you ever watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No.
All right. Do you have a TV?
That
It doesn't have hockey on it. All right. All right. You know, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
Okay.
All right. Well, Ryan Reynolds, a couple actors, Hollywood guys, went and bought the crappiest soccer team in all of Europe in the oldest stadium, I think, in the world. And it hasn't been renovated since like the 1800s. And it's the story of them buying this team. And it's 3 seasons. And all I can tell you is this team is really good because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched it. Joe Q almost spoiled it for me as I was halfway through one of the seasons.
All right.
But it got me into the shirt. It got me into the soccer, and we're going to cover a lot of soccer betting, just a lot of soccer coverage across the board. So hockey, soccer. I see an argument too, Looch. I see a debate between you and a soccer guy, because I had a soccer guy tell me that that's a more demanding sport physically than hockey, and I disagree because soccer guys, they get to stand around. It's not like they're running the entire time.
Yeah.
Hockey guys are constantly moving.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
Oh. And Joe Q said the 2 greatest guys to come out of St. Joe's High School, St. Joe's Prep. One of them is Joe Q, and the other one now owns the European soccer team, Wrexham. So, great TV show, and it'll get you respect. So, anything in closing, Luke? We got like 2-3 minutes, and then we got to flip over. We got to get out of Chef Tom's way because, you know,
Go ahead. Just looking forward to some Rangers hockey coming up soon, man. Next, we got less than 2 weeks, I think it is. Sunday. And then we got the season starting in October, right at the beginning of October. So looking forward to some hockey action.
Yeah, in a few weeks from now, all 4 sports at once. You're going to have basketball, hockey, baseball, and football all going at the same time.
Yep, I think we mentioned that last year. It was a great time of the year. You know, you get the fire going in the backyard in the fire pit. Set up the TV outside, which I'm going to probably end up doing, and hang out outside and watch a few games.
Why don't you invite me up, and we can do a show from the backyard with a fire pit one night?
That would be pretty cool.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And we can do a slap contest because it never happened tonight. So
yeah, and the numbness is finally going away. I could drink normally.
Looch, where the hell is Stella? That's all anybody cares about. All right, I waited. I let you go through. She's passed out.
I don't know if you can see her. She
I
is
see
back there. She is out. Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
I had to buy that bad boy right there. That's Johnny Gaudreau's number 13.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be retired, pal.
Yeah.
At least on the, well, I don't know about the Blue Jackets, but his previous teams that he was on. So.
Yeah. Yep. A little respect for him and his brother.
We appreciate everybody for tuning in. When hockey season fires up, if you're new to watching us, man, we got to cover with Looch. He's a diehard Ranger fan. So when the Rangers win, he's happy. When the Rangers lose, he's not happy. But Stella's always happy, except for tonight. She took the night off. She's excited to be here.
Diehard hockey fan all together, man. And the Rangers just right there, even higher.
Watch. Yeah, keep an eye on us. If you're just discovering us, FAU, we're infiltrating Miami. We're Inter Miami, the MLS team. We're there. Okay? Dolphins, Chargers, Jaguars. We got them all covered right now. The Rams, the Carolina Panthers, the website, totally getting, I mean, it's a work in progress, but go right now. Everything that you need is there. The radio channel, streaming, big name coming, maybe multiple big names coming along with us. We're just getting started. So you get used to these. I'll get my lighting better so that you can't actually see this mess that's going on here. But anyway, Looch, appreciate you coming on. Yep. As always. Thank you. And Steven, good job, buddy. We'll get more on volleyball next week. All right, pal? And everybody stay tuned for Chef Tom and tea time, tea bagging or something with tea they're going to be doing. Summer Girls, they're all gone now, Looch, but you got local summer. Anyway, we'll get the music. We'll get everything set. All right. So for Looch, for Steven, thank you for Robbie LaStella, for Aiden Alopecio Strout. I'm going to butcher it anyway. And go to Rebet, okay? Thanks, everybody that tuned in. And it's not summer until the Pennsylvania Derby has been run, and I'm assuming that that's going to be run soon. But tune in Saturday morning to get all your PA Derby info. We're good, Looch.
All right. Yep. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we're out.